What if I told you that the quickest way to make toxic people lose their control over you is not by arguing, not by exposing them, and not even by confronting them? Real power comes from silence, calmness, and quiet moves they cannot understand. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 10 silent moves that confuse toxic people so deeply that they will not know how to manipulate, provoke, or disturb you anymore. And you will not even need to raise your voice once. Before we continue, hit the like button and subscribe, because every idea in this video is made to protect your peace, take back your power, and show you how to handle toxic people without confrontation. Stay with me. Later in the video, the moves become even more subtle but much more powerful. Emotional neutrality is the first and most powerful silent move against toxic people because it removes the fuel they depend on, your reactions. Toxic people, whether they are friends, co-workers, or even family members, act like they are always searching for emotional signals like anger, fear, frustration, or defensiveness. These reactions give them a feeling of control. When you stay emotionally neutral, you take away that signal completely, and they feel confused because they cannot predict you anymore. This does not mean you stop feeling emotions or pretend to be cold. It means you build a steady inner calm that is not shaken by their behavior. Your face, tone, and body language all matter here. When they try to trigger you with insults, criticism, or guilt, your expression stays calm, your voice remains steady, and your posture stays relaxed. This sends a clear message that you are not reacting and not afraid. When you stop reacting to their chaos, you quietly change the power balance without saying a word. Emotional neutrality also saves your mental energy because it stops you from getting pulled into endless emotional traps that drain you. Over time, toxic people realize their usual tricks no longer work. They cannot get the reaction they want, and that frustrates them even more than arguments. It creates a silent pressure that only they feel. To master this, you need awareness and practice, noticing your emotional reactions, pausing before responding, and keeping your mind and body calm even under pressure. With time, toxic people lose control over your reactions, and your life becomes calmer and more stable. Delayed response is another silent move that slowly breaks a toxic person's control because they depend on fast reactions. Toxic individuals want instant replies, quick explanations, and immediate emotional engagement because that speed lets them guide the situation. When you respond immediately, even calmly, you are still following their timing. But when you delay your response, you take that control away. This can be as simple as waiting before replying to messages, taking time before answering questions, or pausing before speaking in a conversation. This creates uncertainty for them because they can no longer predict your behavior, and that makes them uncomfortable. It also stops you from reacting emotionally in the moment, which protects you from saying or doing things you might regret. In practice, you might read a message and not reply right away, wait hours or even a day before responding, or take a silent pause before answering in person. When combined with emotional neutrality, delayed response becomes even stronger because it shows you are calm and not easily influenced. Over time, this forces toxic people to deal with uncertainty and lose their grip on controlling the interaction. Unbothered body language is a silent message of strength that does not require words. Toxic people pay close attention to your physical signals to understand your emotional state. They look for tension, nervous movement, or discomfort so they can use it against you. When your body stays relaxed, open, and steady, you remove that advantage from them. This means standing or sitting with a calm posture, keeping your shoulders loose, moving slowly and with control, and keeping your gestures minimal. Your face stays calm, and your breathing remains steady. This shows that nothing they do is affecting you. As a result, they cannot find anything to exploit. They no longer know how to push your emotional buttons. When combined with emotional neutrality and delayed responses, this creates a strong image of someone who cannot be shaken. Over time, toxic people become frustrated because they cannot get the reaction they expect from you. Neutral facial expressions are another powerful silent move because your face becomes unreadable to them. Toxic people rely on reading small facial changes like smiles, frowns, or irritation to control situations. When your face stays calm and neutral, they lose that information. This does not mean you become expressionless or numb. It means you control your small expressions and keep your face steady with relaxed eyes and a calm mouth. When they cannot read your emotions, they feel unsure and uncomfortable. They do not know if you are angry, hurt, or affected. That confusion weakens their control, This works best when combined with calm body language, emotional neutrality, and delayed responses. Together, these create an image of complete emotional control. Over time, toxic people begin to feel frustrated because nothing they do gives them the reaction they expect. Selective availability is a silent move that gives you control over your time and attention. Toxic people expect constant access to you. They believe they can reach you whenever they want for attention, emotional reactions, or drama. When you become selectively available, you decide when and how you engage with them. This might mean replying only when you are ready, limiting conversations to appropriate times, or avoiding emotionally draining interactions. This creates confusion because they can no longer predict your availability. It also weakens their control over your attention. When combined with delayed responses and emotional neutrality, it becomes even stronger because you are no longer reacting under pressure. Over time, they realize they do not have constant access to your time and energy, which reduces their influence over you. This builds a quiet boundary that protects your peace and gives you control over your own life. Refusing to over-explain yourself is another silent move that takes away their power. Toxic people use long explanations as tools to argue, twist your words, and create guilt. When you over-explain, you give them more material to attack. When you keep your answers short and clear, you remove that power from them. This does not mean being rude or unclear. It means saying only what is necessary. For example, you can simply say, "This is my decision," or "I have thought about it and this works for me." You do not need to defend every choice you make. When you stop explaining too much, you stop giving them control over your thoughts. This works even better when combined with calmness, delayed response, and emotional neutrality. Over time, toxic people feel frustrated because they can no longer pull you into long arguments or emotional traps. Quiet consistency and boundaries is another silent move that weakens toxic people because they rely on testing limits. They try to see how far they can push you. When you respond consistently every time without drama or emotional reaction, they slowly realize your boundaries do not change. You do not need to announce or explain your limits. You simply act on them. For example, if someone crosses a line, you calmly step back or reduce contact every time it happens. This consistency makes your behavior predictable, but your emotional reaction remains calm. Over time, they realize they cannot break your boundaries. This removes their sense of control and creates frustration because their usual tactics stop working. Letting toxic people reveal themselves is a silent but powerful move. Instead of constantly defending yourself or proving your point, you simply observe their behavior. When you stop reacting, their true nature becomes visible. Toxic people often hide their behavior when they feel challenged, but when you stay silent and calm, their actions speak for themselves. This can expose manipulation, dishonesty, or disrespect without you needing to say anything. Over time, others may also notice it. This saves your energy and keeps you out of unnecessary conflict. It also gives you clarity because you see people as they really are, not how they pretend to be. Emotional detachment without hostility is the final silent move. This means you do not engage emotionally with toxic behavior, but you also do not become hateful or aggressive. You simply observe and stay calm. When someone tries to provoke you, you do not react emotionally. You understand what is happening, but you choose not to engage. This removes the emotional fuel they need to control you. You stay peaceful, aware, and unshaken. Over time, toxic people lose their influence because they can no longer pull you into emotional conflict. You remain in control of yourself, your reactions, and your peace.